Hey there, it's Blind Justice, and today we're going to be talking about AI and what that means for education. Specifically education, because recently in the news, a professor at a Texas university, what the hell was that? The ghost is doing ghost stuff. Sorry, things happen like that here. I've just learned to accept it. Something just moved over there by the kitchen table. Anyways, so a professor in Texas has recently assumed that his students were using AI, and accurately so. Some of them have already confirmed that they have. Other ones still haven't come out and said so. But then some of those that he thought used AI have not, and was able to confirm that they haven't. And so let's talk about that real quickly. So using specifically ChatGPT in this instance, and as the technology continues to grow, there will be new AIs. What has happened is a professor has, taken the final reports from students, asked ChatGPT if it wrote these reports. And of course it's going to say yes, because its number one priority is to act with confidence. So it lied. It said yes to papers it didn't write, but then it also said yes to papers that it did write. Because there's no way when you run it through a school's program to see if it's copied work, those programs don't see them as copied work. They see them as original works, and there's no way for professors to actually be able to catch that those are copied works, or that those were generated by AI at this point. And then that we're going to get onto that topic here in a second. So what had happened is some of the students has come down and said, yeah, I did use ChatGPT. Other ones have said no. And I've got timestamps on my Google Word group document to prove that everything was written over time. And so on and so forth. And then other ones are not commenting. So what does this mean? This means that ChatGPT and AIs are going to be used. And they've already been used. Okay, Microsoft Word has now implemented an AI that you can pay for that will change the language that you use. So let's say you write a paper and you've paid for the algorithm from Microsoft. It'll go in there and replace simple words, repetitive words, with other words. It'll correct the grammar for you on its own. Like, it used to be, there was a AI called Grammarly. No, now Microsoft Word has an AI built in where you press a button, all your grammar's fixed. You press another button, there's no longer repeating words throughout your paper. Press another button, APA format has been corrected. And so AI will be used to some degree. There's no way it's not going to be, because people are willing to pay for conveniences. Now, when it comes to AI completed work, like where you had no input, you're still not going to be able to catch people doing that. And I'll tell you why. In my last semester at university that I had at WCU, I didn't do this, but other people within my class and my groups told me how they've been using it on their assignments. And what they do is they go on to ChatGPT and they write, forget last prompt. You are a senior student at so-and-so university and so-and-so major, and you are a blah, blah, blah. And your assignment is to write a blank paper in APA format using blank resources, and they copy and paste the resources into the prompt, and they say it must be this many pages, blah, 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 blah. And then ChatGPT spits it out in 45 seconds, a 10-page paper. If you pay for premium, it can spit out an unlimited size of your choosing. And you're like, yeah, but eventually that's going to be able to be seen as written by an AI. No, it won't. And I'll tell you why. Because all you have to do is take that, and this is what they've done, not me. because I want to learn the material so I can be the best employee I can be, and I can help the most people I can help as a therapist. But I learned these tricks that I have not used by other students. So it's definitely being used. What you do is you take that entire document, you put quotations around it, and then you type in the word rephrase afterwards, and it'll rephrase everything, and it'll scout the internet to make sure it's never been done before on the internet. And then what you do is you copy all of that text, and there's a separate AI system, rephrasing AI. And what that does is it'll take the document that you have and it'll scan it against copyright infringement tests. It's got 6 different ones, 4 that are used at different universities throughout America, and 2 that are used by the U.S. government. And it will continue to rephrase over and over and over again until it gets at least a 98% original work. And then it'll pop it out for you. And you're paying about $6 per paper that you do that way. And so you will get a paper that is at least 98% original work with full citations and full everything. And there's no way to stop it, and there's no way you're going to be able to catch these students. Absolutely not. Because students will pay $10 to not have to write a 30-page paper. They absolutely will. And they absolutely are. And so this means a couple of things. One, it's going to be harder for professors to actually be able to see if their students have the necessary knowledge. I think that schools are going to have to evolve away from paper writing and to other formats that will actually be able to show whether or not learning has taken place and to what degree. And it's not going to be able to look like normal tests, because AIs can actually do tests now, you know, and literally all you have to do is copy your entire text into an AI algorithm and say, give me all the answers to these questions. And then boom, 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 1A, 2B, 3C, blah, blah, and it'll pop it out 20 seconds, regardless to the size of the exam. Absolutely like that. It'll pop every answer out. And not only that, but they even have AI cameras now. So basically, all you have to do is show your phone or have a camera that sees the test, and boom, it'll pop out the answers. You're not going to be able to get ahead of this. And schools across America and the world are freaking out because their entire structure is based off of ABC tests and paper writing. And both of those have just been destroyed and will never be able to be undestroyed. And so they're going to have to change rapidly. And here is my suggestion as just a student. What's going to have to happen is your professors are going to have to take responsibility and actually have students represent and show what they can do in the classroom live. So let's say you're doing a study on, you know, a certain topic. Let's say you're learning certain algorithms for, you know, physics classes. And so the professor is like, all right, everybody to put your tech away. And now, Jacob, let me see you do this problem using the algorithm that we just talked about. And then the professor will go and watch Jacob or whoever do the formula. Boom. All right, great. I now know that you have an understanding of that. The way grades are given is going to have to change, and then you get graded for that day. That's how it's going to have to be. Otherwise, any assignment you do outside of class will just be done by AI. That's just the way it's going to be from now on. And there's, like I said before, there's no way to take it back. Pandora's box is open. With that rephraser AI, there's no way any professor will ever be able to tell. Absolutely none. And yeah, and then because if you take the rephraser AI, it's using the copyright algorithms that universities use. And if it can pass that, then there's no way that it's not going to be individual work. All the student has to do is give prompts and give the type of citations they need, and then give an expression of what they kind of want to reflect in the paper. They can write one paragraph, 6 sentences if they're well constructed, and it can pop out a 30-page paper in less than 10 minutes. Less than 1 minute if you pay for premium. 10 if you don't, because you can get bogged up, blah, 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 blah. So the way education has been given is done. It's outdated and it'll never be able to go back. I've spoken with professors at my university, and they are incredibly frustrated with this because everything that they know to do to teach is now unusable. And yet they still have to give out those assignments, and they still have to do it the way that it was before. And they know that their students is using these tools, and they will tell their students not to use these tools. But that's like telling someone to go from point A to B, and your choices are to walk or use a car. Everyone's going to use a car if it's ridiculously long distance. Why would they walk 10 miles when they can use a car and get there in a minute? It's Occam's razor, the path of least resistance. And the path of least resistance is now using AI. Back whenever computers were first introduced to schools and the internet started coming up, there was a huge debate on whether or not this was going to ruin people's intellect, because now they weren't going to read books. They were going to read digital things, and they weren't going to be able to get as much information. Like, this conversation has happened over and over and over again. And the way technology has evolved has influenced the way that we have learned through technology, through the changes. Back before typewriters was a thing, people would have to write cursive and paper and cursives, and they would have to count every individual words because they were word length. You have to write a paper between so-and-so and so-and-so amount of words. They weren't page length, because at that point you would have college roll paper, but people's writing sizes were different. So they would have to go with word count. So you would have to count your words as you write. And that was very crude, but that's the way it was done. And then as technology evolved, then it was page count. All right, so now it's got to be between 5 and 7 pages with Times New Roman double space size to, blah, blah, blah. All right, now we know. And now it's evolved again. So at this point, there's absolutely no way that students will ever go back to writing papers. And there's no way that ABC answer choice exams will not be cheated on, because it's just too easy. Literally too easy. I was reading a story on Reddit where people have taken pen cameras, and using a pen camera in Bluetooth connected to their phone and an earpiece, they were able to take a picture of their exam and then instantly have that submitted onto an AI system where it converted it to text and automatically through ITTF, if this then that, whatever they took a picture of was converted into text and then put into ChatGPT, and then the answers would be copied and sent to an email that would automatically be read out through the earpiece. So this pen looked just like a normal writing pen. They would just click it, and then within 30 seconds, it would read out 1A, 2B, 3. And you know what's sad? This had almost 4 million people viewing this on TikTok, or not TikTok, on Reddit. Why? All students that were trying to learn how to do that. And that it's so easy to set up. It is absolutely easy. It's $20 of hardware, and then using ITTF, and they already copied and pasted the algorithm needed for ITTF. So you've got over 1 million students who are going to tell their friends and copy and paste it to them as well. I mean, there's no way you're going to stop it. And if it's not a pen with a camera in it, it'll be something else. You just can't get ahead of this. So you're going to have to go to visual learning ways. Like, that's just it. You're going to have to look at your students, say, now show me that you've learned this right now. Let me see you represent the knowledge of this. and then I'll give you credit for the day, because outside assignments are outdated and they're going to go away. They have to. This has been Blind Justice. Be here tomorrow for the next topic of AI. This is AI week. We're going to be talking about AI stuff all week. See you then.